nothing will change in America until this changes. Now, when I say change, I mean change for the better. So, Obama's whole slogan was, when he was running for office, was change, right? I don't know if it changed for the better. I didn't see too much. And that's what I mean to talk about today is unless if our values change, we're going to continue having the same old story, whether it's Obama, whether it's Trump, whether it's Biden, whether it's Bush, whether it's some new great person that comes into office and we change different policies. And I'm seeing a lot of that happen with Trump is there's policy change and Elon Musk is cleaning house and there's things happening and people are excited and other people are pissed off. But what I see is our country's values are not being emphasized, or the values are being emphasized, but they're not changing. So what do I mean by our values? Well, I would like our values to be a certain way. And I think that if they change into this, we will have a better society. But right now, what do we value? We value money. We value influence, power. We value, instead of the character, we value how you look, how you're perceived. Oh, you made all your money by stealing from people. We don't care. You're successful. We care about the money aspect of things. We care about how people look. We don't care if they did it through plastic surgery or this or that. We don't care if they're a good person, all right? How many likes do they have? How many followers do they have? We care about prestige and power. What kind of car do you drive? We have our values towards physical things versus what I think, it's my opinion, I think would help our culture and our country change for the better would be honesty, integrity, willingness, humility, discipline, service, love, and last one, gonna rub people the wrong way, but God, or at least something bigger than yourself. When it's all about me, and that's what our culture values, is the individual. It's all about me. It's all about myself. It's all about what I can have. Selfishness versus selflessness. If we continue along, we could change all the policy. We could do everything right. It's going to end up right back where we were in a very short period of time if we don't have values, if our foundation isn't built on something that's not going to just completely let things go to the next person who has power. And so that's why I made a video on the US aid stuff and Elon, people are pissed at Elon Musk because he's getting showing the corruption. And my side is like, look, I am skeptical of Elon. I was talking to Chicho on his channel about this and he agrees. It's like, I'll take the win though. Let's take the win on getting rid of the corruption or exposing the corruption. People are still defending the corruption, which is crazy to think about, right? It shows you, like I said, how selfish people are when something that is universally good for the American people still want to argue about just because it's coming out of one side. But at the same time, I'm saying, okay, let's take the win, but let's look at Elon. Are we just going to create the same problem with less heads of the snake attached to it, right? So instead of all these different hands going everywhere and all these different programs, now it's just Elon and his cronies that are making these programs in control of what's going on. I don't know. How do we know that he's not just doing the same thing that was happening before? We don't know. So transparency for me is how you're going to create a system that will help keep people accountable. Because if we don't know, we don't know, right? That's why we didn't know about a lot of this stuff, because it was, behind closed doors and people were, doing things on days of Congress and signing things in. It's the last of 10,000 pages. We don't know what's going on with a lot of these things. So transparency for me is key. But what does transparency take? You have to have the humility to be able to say, hey, this is what we're doing, right? You have to have the selflessness because you're willing to let other people have things and the people have what we want versus the few at the top who have the power and influence, who have the ability to sign things into law, who have the ability to push things through Congress, or like Trump, sign an executive order. He could do a lot of things just for himself. What's stopping him from doing that? I don't know. right? Well, the way that our system is set up and the way that we value things, our values dictate what we're going to do in regard to legislation and law and the way that we act as a society. And so I see that although we might be making changes, like I said, if we don't value different things, it's not going to stick. The way that we go about things is what creates the results. So if we go about them in a selfish way, it's all about me, I'm doing this, my side versus your side, not coming together, not cooperating, being selfish, not selfless. You might get results because you might have the right answers, but invariably that leads to negative down the line. It's just like, looking at Hitler. What if Hitler had all the right answers and he was doing everything right for that moment in time? Racism and classism and the way that they go about things never works out in the long run. It never works out because we need ideas. We need each other. We need different perspectives. The one thing that you think about with Hitler, trying to make a perfect race, Eddie Izzard does this bit. You don't want the gene pool to be in the same pool. You want it to be spread out. You want your genes to spread. And what does he talk about? First, run was Sieg Heil. Second was Sieg Heil. Third one was Sieg Heil. Fourth one would be Z, I don't know. Because you get stupid as your genes, like when you start marrying your cousins and everything goes in with each other. You want to spread your genes. You want variety, all right? That's how genetics works. So even in a short period of time, his experiment would have gone off the rails. And that's what we do when we think about ourselves and we think we have all the right answers. We need each other and we need to be selfless and we need to have humility. And if we're not emphasizing these things, like I said, you could have all the right answers and get results for a short period of time, maybe even an extended period of time. But in the long term, things are going to go right back to where they were because it's like, okay, now I'm in power, all right? I'm selfish. I want what I want. My team wants what we want, all right? We're going to screw everyone else over. We're going to sign things in that are going to help us. And that's what people think Trump's doing. And I don't know if it's right or not. It's only time will tell, right? I agree with some of the things that he's doing, but if we don't have a system of accountability, how do we know it's not just him telling us what we want on Tuesday and doing what he wants on Wednesday in closed doors? So until we as a culture really put people in positions of power that have these values of integrity, respect, discipline, honor, humility, love, compassion, if we don't put those things, and I think a lot of it, like I said, falls under having a higher power, something greater than yourself, because if there isn't anything greater than you, then you can become God. You can become everything because you have all the right answers. So if we keep putting people in positions, someone's going to crack and go, okay, well, I have all this power, I have all this influence, I'm going to use it for my own benefit. And I know that people are infallible. People are weak. I say all the time, I don't know what I'd do if you gave me all that power. If you gave me give me Elon's billions and give me Elon's power that he has in the government. I don't know if I use it for good. I could say it right now that yes, I'm going to be a great person. I'm going to do what's right for the American public and I'm going to help my neighbor. I say that now, but you give me all that? I don't know. I would hope that my values would stick, but you don't know until you're in that situation. And so people can talk a big game, but usually what ends up happening is the people who say, I'm going to do these good things, they end up not doing them because they have a false sense of reality in regard to who they think they are. They don't realize that there's a demon inside of you, inside of everyone. There's a devil. If you don't know how to harness that, and if you don't have, like I said, some sort of transparency or accountability or a way to really give things over to God and say, look, I'm not in control. I want these certain things in my life, but what's best for not just me, but for the greater good? That's hard to do, especially when you have the ability to basically write a blank check, right? Or have a blank check and write whatever you want. Like someone like Elon, who knows? What if his game is more power and more influence? Do you see him on Twitter just dunking on people, making fun of people all the time? That's our culture. He gets rewarded for that. And that's what I mean by our values. If we continue to value shitting on other people, dunking on other people, I'm right, you're wrong, you're a loser, making fun, like that is not a recipe for success by my estimation. Look, I don't have all the right answers, but I don't see that working out in the long term. Even if they have all the answers, like I said, even if you're right, saying it in the way that you're saying it is not a good recipe for success in regard to the collective of a team, a nation coming together. So unless if we change our values, unless if we change these values, things aren't going to change for the better. They might get better for a short period of time, but they'll go right back to where they were because there's nothing keeping us accountable and there's no emphasis on those things. Again, like I said, if we reward, like Facebook, and it, I think came out recently, they're going to reward more positive posts and things like that, and they're not going to reward the negativity side of things. But the negativity side is what we value. We get amped up on that. And if we start clicking and liking and are more interested in the more positive stuff, that's what's going to change the algorithms, and that's what's going to make someone like Facebook actually change it. Whereas they try to force it top down, it might help in the short term, but water finds its level. We're going to end up finding what we want. And I think, again, if we have more of an emphasis, like I'm struggling with this right now because of my drug and alcohol abuse, right? So I've been sober for the past 6 months. I actually just hit 6 months today. And one of the things that I really struggle with is I want to feel good. I want to get high because it feels good. I don't feel good all the time, but it's me. I want. If I then shift my perspective and going, what does God want for me? That changes everything because it gets rid of me and it gets into we, as cliche as that is, and that allows me to see a bigger picture. And what's interesting is I instantly feel better when I accept that. Acceptance is the answer to all my problems today. If I accept, then it leads me into a better way. Things don't change. It's not like miracles start happening around me. It's not like sparks start shooting up my ass every time I walk down the street. It's no. It's just I have a different perspective and a different feeling. And so with our society, if it's still all about me, I win, you lose, that it's not going to bring us into this collective and this togetherness. That's something that's going to last as, like I said, as a nation, as a people, as a culture. You might get some results in the short term, but it's not going to last in the long term. So we have to, as a people, start putting people in positions of power that have these values that we want. We have to emphasize them ourselves. I, as an individual in this program, I have to value those moments where I'm being honest, I'm having integrity, I'm having humility. If I just focus on me, right, and I reward myself, hey, I did good, I get to drink. I did good, I get to get high. I did good, I get to eat whatever. I have all these different addictions. It's only going to feed more fuel to that fire. And right now we're still fueling that fire. Until we start to, again, value the humility, the integrity, the honor, the respect, the discipline, the love, the compassion, until we really honor that, things aren't going to get any better. So that's just what I think. I think we have to change our values from money and power and selfishness to the antithesis of those things. Love, humility, selflessness, respect, honor, discipline, all those things. Until we do that, I don't know how much we can actually change in our culture. Yeah, we might get a little bit more financial success. Yeah, we might have a little bit less debt. Yeah, we might, solve, a couple of these problems. But I think over time, those things will start creeping back in because if it's all about me and it's not about we, then of course it's going to end up, hey, I'm right, you're wrong, and then screw you. All right. Yeah, I worked with you for these 4 years, but you know what? It's back to where I want things because I'm in charge. We have to give it up to a higher power, and that's the only way that we all sit underneath one umbrella. So that's my thoughts on what's going on in the world. I just read something about this, and it's just we're still just fighting over things no matter what. No matter how good things come about, we're still in this because that's what we value, and that's what sells, and that's what people click, and that's what people like. So it's our values coming through the algorithms that give us what we want. So we have to be careful of that. We have to demand better of ourselves first, and then other people, and our society will be shaped by what we value. That's it for today. I'll see you next time.